All right, buddy. So what's your name and where you from?
Ian. They call me E from Farmington, Michigan.
Michigan, man. I had a lot of people asking, where's all the Michigan cats? Well, first off, let's go ahead and just figure out what you went to the penitentiary for, man. How long?
All right, so I did 7.5 on my first. Uh, I got popped for first degree home invasion, attempted armed robbery, 2 counts of felony firearm, larceny of a firearm, and they gave me 4.5 off rip on that. And then, like I said, I added a couple extra years on top, but that was my first bit. And then my second bit was organized retail, and I don't know, some
Organized
conversion.
retail.
Yeah.
Is that what considered organized crime?
Nah, man, I don't. To be honest, that's what they try to make it seem like you're organized, operation. You got guys running in and grabbing shit out of stuff out of stores and
Oh,
bringing it
okay,
out or
okay, okay,
whatever. So
okay.
then they pop you with the organized.
All right, so that man, you said 7.5 on the first stretch.
Yeah, yeah. They gave me 4.5. I ended up doing seven and a half.
Oh, so you for all those charges of home invasion, you only got a 4 piece.
Yeah, yep. I was 17.
You
Yep,
got blessed,
first,
man.
first felony.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
first
yeah,
felony they tend to kind of slap on the wrist. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
First, well, a lot of times with the first degree home invasion, at least in this area, you might get, if you ain't got no felonies before, if you're young, you might get one or maybe 2 years tops. You probably get probation, to be honest. But I had a juvenile record before, and then my case was kind of more publicized in the area that I was at. So I think it was kind of like and I had a paid lawyer too. So
yeah,
I,
paid
I, I did
lawyers
get,
mean a lot.
man, a ton. I was
Yeah,
looking at all my PSI paperwork. They had already written in 8, and then they had to go back through and cross it out and write in 4.5 because my lawyer got up and he was talking to him or whatever. So he saved me on that, but I ended up doing it anyways.
yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, paid attorneys pay off dramatically. You get what you pay for 99% of the time. You want something a little more expensive, chances are it's not going to break as quick as something cheap, and that's how it
Right.
is for real.
Man, especially in Detroit. My last case was out of Detroit, Wayne County, because I'm right outside the city. But my last case was in Detroit, and man, them non-paid attorneys and court appointed, frying dudes, man, frying.
Yeah, yeah, they're
No,
working with
leave.
the system, man. That's
Man,
all it
hundred
is.
percent.
So well, let's get into the whole prison scene, man. You say you ran your time up a little bit. You say were you running with anybody in there? Were you running with anyone on the streets? Because I know being so close to Detroit and all that, there's a lot of affiliations out there, man.
Right. So yeah, my homies in the streets. You know, my
Oh,
big
so
homie.
you were affiliated on the streets.
I know I wasn't. I was affiliated, but I wasn't banging until after I got in the penitentiary.
Okay,
So
okay,
my dogs were cobras and this and that. So when I got to the penitentiary, the natural progression of things was, that I get down to D Kings, cobras, some folk click.
okay. Uh, D Kings, I haven't heard of that before, man. It sounds like a lot of it is kind of rolling down from Chicago. Y'all are close to Chicago, right?
Right, right, yeah, yeah. So D Kings are up under the books in Chicago, um, but yeah, it's a city clip, and nowadays most of them had turned into MLD, so Maniac Latin Disciple. So most of the homies are either old school cats who are D Kings or new school younger guys who are MLDs.
Okay, yeah. So it kind of just, I guess, progressed a little bit and changed up a little bit. It's crazy, man. I learned a thing or two in every interview. There's so many gangs out there, especially out there, in Chicago, man. And it was
Oh yeah.
this. Would you say the D King thing was kind of something that white dudes kind of fell under typically, or was it?
Yeah, so here's the thing. In Michigan, you got it like this. You got most of your solid white dudes are going to come from a city area. And I'm not saying all, but I'm saying most of them are going to come from a city area. And most of
Brings
them are
the
going to be affiliated with like a white
yeah,
Mexican gang. You got a few that, are more, they get accepted up into the black gangs. But even that isn't really prevalent here in Michigan, though.
yeah,
You ain't going to have no, generally speaking, I ain't going to say there ain't none, but generally you ain't going to have no white VLs, no white Bloods. You ain't going to have no white G's. Nowadays with the G's, it's becoming more
yeah,
prevalent. But
yeah. I can agree with that. And like you said, I mean, there's some anomalies,
well,
every
shit, you
once in
prove
a while.
yourself. Yeah, I mean, you got homies who are, you've been fucking with. So you go to the penitentiary, shit. What else you gonna do? You gonna keep fucking with them?
Yeah, yeah, that's how it goes, man. So you get in there, man. How was it? This was your first bid? You say you got charged when you were 17. I
Yeah.
mean, were you a little shook? What's going on? Well,
Yeah. So
actually, you
this
know
is
what? Let me back it up. Let me back it up. I apologize. Home invasion, man. How the can you speak a little bit about just briefly how the hell that went down? Because home invasion, it takes some balls to do something like that, man.
right, right, yeah. So home invasion in Michigan can be construed in different ways, right? I know home
Hmm.
invasions in other states is more of a violent crime, or it's more associated with armed robbery. Now, in Michigan, you can have a second degree home invasion, which is where you just bust up in somebody's crib and nobody's home. There's no threat of force or anything like that. And then you have first degree, which is the use or threat of use of force. So because I had a burner on me when I walked in the house, and then when I left, it bumped it up to a first degree. So then I got charged with a violent case as opposed to not having like no violent charge or nothing.
So what the hell, man? They don't have just regular basic ass breaking and entering out there?
Bro, listen, on your first degree home invasion armed robbery case, off rip, you're gonna get like anywhere between 8 and 12.
I
And that,
know,
I mean,
but them
you
shit's
know what I'm saying?
serious.
Yeah, yeah, they take it serious. So if they could prove that you had a weapon or that you were going in there with the idea or anything like that, they're gonna cook you.
Yeah, like out here in Virginia, man, they have this thing called burglary and midnight burglary. If you happen to do a midnight burglary, the judge is going to say, well, you know what? You did it at midnight. And chances are people are at home sleeping in their bed at midnight. So if you went in there past midnight, your boots are about to get 20 years of smoke added to
All
them
right,
just
cook,
because you
cook.
did it after midnight and people could typically be in there. So
But
I
that's the thing.
understand.
That's one of the parts of the legal system that, I mean, we could talk about this shit all day, but I mean
Yeah,
that just ups everything, ups the level. Now I was
yeah.
17 when I got arrested, turned 18 in Jackson, and that was that first year. So by the time I got arrested, I walked into Jackson, and within 2 3 months, I had turned 18 in the joint, and then they shot me upstate. So
Jackson, that's the county jail.
no, that's a Jackson State Prison.
Oh,
That's basically like our quarantine. Like you go there, get processed, get all your shit done or whatever, and then
okay.
and you get classified. So you get classified, and then you get sent out based on your crime, your time. Probably the same everywhere else,
Yeah,
right?
good old classification, reception, whatever. There's many names. What was the city jail you went to? Let's begin there actually before we go into the prison scene. How was
So
that?
I was in so I was in Oakland County Jail on my first case, and Wayne on my second, and that's basically where I started to look at how the time I was looking at, because initially they were talking about 10 years. So I'm in the county jail at 17 looking at 10 years like this. I ain't even saying it's that bad, but looking at it like it's 20 years. I didn't even know, to me there was no end in sight. So I ended up getting into it with a lot of dudes coming in there, especially being young and white, like skinny, small. So like you got two options. So you either gonna take the shit or you ain't gonna take the shit. And
Yeah,
I just kind of made it up in my mind at that point, which was detrimental in the future, but at the same time, it was what it was. I'm not, I might be young and white and this and that, but there ain't gonna be no bullshit that goes down. So that's really where, you know, I started out at, as far as in the jail system, was in Oakland County Jail. Um,
okay. With the whole affiliation thing, or are you just talking about just in general?
no, 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 no. When I got into the county jail, I'm saying that's when I really started getting into a little bit of trouble, and
Oh,
shit
okay.
started to progress from there. Was that was the start of it.
Well, you said you had a little bit of a hard time, being little and stuff like that, white dude, and it's typical. That's how it is, man.
Right?
I had
Hell yeah.
I had people trying to test me and push up on me in numerous occasions. I'm not the biggest dude. I'm only 5'9", still to this day. So
Right.
I was even smaller back then. So I understand. Now, was there anybody there for you in the county saying, hey, man, you kind of were like, I got to click up with something, or, I got to ride with someone. I'm tired of this shit, tired of people trying to get me. What's up?
No, so yeah, this is a crazy part, is that, I mean, you were in jail, especially. You ain't got to click up with nobody. You ain't got to be right. You don't got to ride with anybody. If you don't want to, you could. Or people still, mess with you here and there, but you don't got to do nothing. If you stay in your own lane and stay quiet, they're not gonna mess with you. But in them instances where it does happen, because it always happens, I was just like, man, we could do whatever. So off rip, that was really what it was. There wasn't
So
no
you just did
reason
a lot
to
of fighting.
yeah, a lot of everything. And that's kind of it took, by the time I got into the penitentiary, I mean, I had homeboys that were in there, and people that I messed with and this and that knew me, but I I was just doing me for the most part. I was getting in enough trouble on my own to really be messing with other dudes who are going to get me in trouble too. So you keep your clique small, you keep yourself moving or whatever, but as soon as problems come up, which they always do, you just got to handle them.
Yeah. Were there any situations where they jumped you or anything like that?
Yep. So let's see, this
You know we can.
MTU.
You know what? You know the audience loves to hear a good old jumping story, man.
Oh man, listen, yeah. So I was at MTU in Michigan. Like, you get, I'm sure there's everywhere else too, but you get like commissary or whatever, and you go put it out on the streets for 1.5 or like 2 back or whatever.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was 18 at the time, so I'm still young, but I'm thinking like, well, I'm gonna do what everybody else is doing. I'm not, it's not gonna stop me from hustling around here. It's not gonna stop me from doing my time just because I'm younger. So I started putting out, little items here and there.
Store
So
box. You were running a little store box,
yeah.
trying to make
Little
a little
store bought. Yep.
double it up a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. Just something to do, but really, whatever. Just putting a little bit of money out, and it's just to most of the homies or whatever. But so I'm giving stuff out here and there or whoever, and store day comes, and I see this dude. He's running around the unit. He's paying everybody else, dropping off stuff, but he owes me some money. He ain't coming to me. So I give him some time. I'm not gonna press him, for a couple little dollars. I think it was like maybe $15, something like that. So I'm not gonna press it for it. Let him take his time. I see he owes everybody. So about 7, and now mind you, we get store at 6 in the morning. Come about like 7, 8 o'clock at night. Dude's over there playing cards. Joking around with his friends, this and that. So
Damn,
I
that's a
go
lot
up.
of time went by.
Yeah, I gave him time. Shit, I was, all right, go pay your bills or whatever. So I go and holler at him. I'm like, what's up, man? What's up with that money? And he's like, no, I ain't got it. The fuck you mean you ain't got it? So when his other homeboy, we were sitting at a table at this time, it was just me and him, because I'm like, I told him to come over and holler at me. So his other homeboy shoots to the table. He's like, what's up? He's like, oh, you got a problem with him? I'm like, hell yeah. I said, go get my money. Excuse me, go get my money. He's like, no, he ain't going to pay you. I said, well, one of you is going to pay me right now. So they were like, all right. So I go up into my room and I grab my banger, right? So my bunkie, he's like, man, he's like, what's going on? I said, bro, I'm finna go pop these fools. And he's like, don't even do it. Just go up in there. They'll just fight you one-on-one. So I was, young, stupid. I'm like, all right. So I go up in there. So I start scrapping with the first dude. So as soon as the first like 2 little hits are thrown, I hear the bathroom door slam open. So now out come 2 other guys. So now they, throw me down to the ground. They're stomping on me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I had my hands over my head, get my ass whooped a little bit. Not bad, but so then all of a sudden they got a couple of these dudes. These counts came in there. They ran up in there and grabbed all them dudes off me, right? And this is a completely different set. This is a whole different thing. They were like, They were like, what's up, man? And I'm like, shit, these motherfuckers, shit, you see what it is? He was like, all right, which one you want to scrap first? And I'm like, shit, I'm already,
And this is this is a part of the same organization but different set.
Yeah. Just a different organization completely.
Oh, okay.
These are some
All
dudes
right.
that just knew me from just being around or whatever. I didn't even know them like that at all. I never really had no words with them before.
Yeah.
So they come up and they're like, hey, man, which one, they grabbed them up and they were like, which one you want to scrap with? So I just, and I'm about like probably a minute and a half into getting my ass whooped already. So I'm a little bit out of breath. So I'm like, fuck it. I'll start scrapping with, I point at one dude and we start banging it out. I get on top of him, start feeding his ass. And I see his homeboy go to jump to get up on top of me. And the one dude just grabbed him and threw him up against the wall. He was like, all right, next one. So the next one comes.
Oh,
One that
dang.
easy. Yeah. So I had to bang back to back 3 times. And the second 2 times I did. I mean, they got down, but shit. I mean, I was already tired.
Yeah, you can only do but so much, man.
Man, hey, that's it. But I'll tell you, that was like one of the first little instances. That was probably about, that was probably about 4 months after me being down at a penitentiary. And
Oh, this was in prison.
Yeah. This was in prison.
MTU,
Yep.
that's what you said?
Yep. Michigan Training
Okay.
Unit. Yep.
Okay. I was thinking we were still in county. All right.
Oh no, man, my bad. No, this is the time I got jumped in the joint. I never got jumped in the county. I got into a bunch of fights, but never got jumped though.
Okay.
So So yeah, so dog, so I ended up scrapping with all three dudes after, you know what I'm saying, after they already kind of whooped me. So then dog came and paid me my money like about 20 minutes after that. So after that, that was really like the first little instance where like, you know, I just kind of started having a little bit of a, you know, name or this or that or like, well, you know, whatever. So
Yeah.
after that, it was just on and popping.
Okay. Well, that's typically how it happens, man. But I mean, not really typically, because you don't. 99% of the time, no one's
Yeah.
gonna come and pull dudes aside and say which one you want
No,
to fight. You know that you
no,
got
no, no,
blessed.
no,
You
no.
got
I did
blessed.
for sure, man. Hell yeah! In that situation, I for sure did. But I'll tell you like this. That I mean, that's obviously that's a rare situation. But it's like this. You got a lot of the white and Mexican gangs in the penitentiary that they might have been beefed in the streets, or they might still got beef. But a lot of these dudes know each other. You know, it's like it's not a huge area, so you know you might know so and so. So yeah, you guys might be beefed out or whatever. But you know, at the end of the day, like shit, it's not always like that at every joint.
Yeah. Uh, well, let's rewind it really quick into the county again. What would you say was the worst moment that you might have had in the county that you're in? What was the county again? You said Oak something?
Yeah, yeah, Oakland County. Yep.
Oakland County. Yeah. What was probably before we go into prison the worst situation you might have came across in county, man?
All right, yeah. So the worst situation, because of my crime, they put me on you know, the 10 mans, right? So it's like a, you know, a 10 man block, and
Oh,
just
okay, okay.
you're in there all day. You know,
Locked
it's a
in it.
small,
Yep.
yeah, you're it's like a small little cage or whatever. There's 10 beds, there's 8 beds and two little bunks on the floor. You're just locked up in there all day with the same people watching the same shit on the TV.
And that
So
sounds like a block that I was in. Exactly the same. It has a little bars right in
yeah,
front.
yep, yep.
Ooh, okay. So yeah,
They might have a single bar or a double bar, you
yeah,
know. But
yep.
yeah, it just depends. But yeah, so I was in there, and because like I said, you know, people I was affiliated with or whatever, they put me in a block with, you know, Mexicans and white dudes for the most part, or mostly, you know, Mexicans, a couple black dudes, but really it was mostly whites and Mexicans. So they put me up in there, and you know, I was kicking it with them or whatever. They never said shit. I didn't say anything. Went to sleep that night. Everything was cool, and just out of nowhere, I just get rocked. I'm dead asleep. So you know when you're asleep and you get rocked, like you don't even at first you know you're getting hit, but you don't know like exactly what's going on.
Until
So I
yeah,
take that, you know, and I got a sheet over my head or whatever. So they rock me right in my shit, and dog just starts whooping on, whoop 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 whoop. So then so then you know, we start tussling around on the floor. Dog gets on top of me, and mind you, I was young at this time too. Dog gets on top of me, starts feeding me. Boom, boom, boom. Grab this dude by his waist, just kind of push him forward and slam him on the ground. End up kind of getting in a few little hits or whatever, and the police ran up. But I didn't know it at the time, but I was getting popped in the back. I got hit 3 times in the back just with some little
with a
bullshit.
banger or oh okay, a little bullshit banger.
Yeah, just some little bullshit like a toothbrush sharpened down like a
What the hell they do that
or
to
a
you
pencil. It
for,
was a
man?
pencil. It was a pencil, a little pencil. Because they thought it was a mistaken identity. They thought from what I hear, they thought I was another, you know, individual, whatever. And that's actually happened to me twice, to be honest. But they
That's
thought I was
crazy.
somebody else. Yep,
I
thought I
mean,
was
it's
somebody else.
believable. They
Well, I ended up
just
running back. Yeah, I mean, it is. It was what it was. That's happened to me twice. Another time in the penitentiary, where
yeah,
you know, I mean, they just think that you're somebody or this or that or whatever. So I ended up getting messed up over that. Then I got into another altercation over some god trays, some food trays coming in the slots. You know, they might the porters might push you a couple extra trays or whatever. So you guys take it out. You might split it up. Like, dog, what's up? You want this? You know, portion or
yeah.
whatever. You want this or that. So dog was grabbing them and keeping them. So he had like three or four trays. So I let that go by for like the first day, and then the second day,
Hold on, dog is just a term for dude or something like that, right?
yeah, yeah, dude,
Okay,
yep,
I'm
yep,
thinking
dude.
it's some guy named Dog or something. Okay, okay,
No,
okay.
no, 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 just dude or
All right,
whatever.
all right.
So yeah, so he's taking them and he's stacking them down like fuck everybody. And shit, mind you, this dude's probably about 35, 40 years old, kind of got a little size to him. And I'm like still same little dude. And so he's like so the next day comes by and he's grabbing like extra milks that comes in, like 5 extra milks. So you know when you're locked up, you're like trying to get some protein and working out a little bit and
I
trying to
know
do whatever you
everybody was mad at that shit.
man, but nobody was saying anything. So I'm
That's
like,
how it
fuck it,
goes, man. He was trying
man.
to
But
debo the shit.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's why you can't let that shit go, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
man. So I walked up to him and I grabbed two of them, slammed them right down on the table in front of me. I'm like, motherfucker, give me that shit. Slammed it right down. So this dude's like, oh hell no, takes a milk and goes to throw it at me, and that bitch busts on the floor. So as soon as he did that, I'm running around like to jump over the table, the end of the table to get to him.
Yeah.
I slip in the milk.
Damn.
Slip in the milk. But he's kind of a bigger dude, so he was running around the side of the table and he couldn't catch up to me. In time, I ended up scooping his big dumb ass, throwing him on the ground. And then he just bear hugged the shit out of me and started yelling for the police to come.
Damn.
Yeah. And they did too. And they took my ass to the hole.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen stuff like that happen. A big dude, man, he knows he wasn't ready for someone to jump on him, you know, and
No,
he just
hell
locked
no.
up and he was hollering for the police. I've seen that, man.
You know what they say, the
And
bigger they are, the harder they fall.
yeah, man, I've seen some big dudes, they back it up 100%.
Oh
And I've
hell
seen
yeah.
some big dudes they're big for nothing. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. That was one of
Big
them dudes. He wasn't
yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Not at that time. But shit, I mean, but that was my whole thing was like, listen, I'm gonna stay in my lane, but as soon as you start affecting shit that I got going on, then that's when I'm gonna react. And I kind of developed that mentality, you know, younger or whatever, but I just never had an issue, you know, A, either get into it with somebody or B, you know, have somebody be looking at me. Shit, that shit never bothered me at all.
Yeah. So yeah, you get into the pen, and I mean, how'd you get into this whole organization? Was it for, or not how? Let's just say why. Was it for safety? To be cool? Was it for what? I mean, what is it? What was the main factor
So
in your
here's the
life
thing.
that said,
My
"Hey, I want"? Yeah.
All right, so this is the thing. So it's my big homie from the streets had been locked up since I was real young. And when I got into the penitentiary, he was in there and he was in a lot of different joints with me and this and that. So, you know, off rip, he's
Yeah.
trying to he just wants me to be official. That was it. It wasn't like, you know, I needed to get anything or do anything. Like I said, I didn't really have any problems on my own as it was, but he just wanted to make it basically official.
Yeah. It
Do
makes
it.
it better to handle business and stuff like that,
I
you
mean,
know.
yeah,
And
all the way around. Hell yeah.
yeah.
Especially being me because I had already went through a number of altercations where it was like, shit, this shit didn't even need to happen. Or, you know, the politics would have stopped it or something, to be honest.
Okay.
You know?
Yep. And how was it, man? Do you think it probably was not the best idea, or it turned out to be all right?
Yeah, no, it never I mean, it never affected me negatively time wise. I'm saying I never got any extra time because of anything that I was involved in specifically to that. But you know, there was a number of situations where, you know, shit, you're in some shit that you really ain't need to be into, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. It's
You
just
know, and it was
completely
mostly
uncalled for.
no, and it was mostly out of boredom. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I
Really,
understand completely, man. You know.
that's really what it comes down to. Is I was just like, fuck it, I'm bored for you know a good while. I was like, no, I'm straight. I don't, you know, whatever. Do you? I'm with you guys every day, or you're with me, or whatever. We're getting money in here, or whatever the deal is. So I mean, I never really felt like, but then they was like, look, bro, like just get down and you know we can make some shit happen. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
You know, I've seen a lot of people affiliated in stuff groups, you know, in prison and jail, and you know, if they're not beefing with another rival or something, or if they don't have any means of making money, there ain't no, you know, OG or whatever you want to call it in there conducting things. Boredom, man. These dudes do crazy stuff out of pure boredom. They will clean up their whole own thing for no reason. They don't even need to be cleaned up, but they're trying to figure out something to go piece something up for no reason. You know what I mean?
I
I've seen
mean,
it a
man,
million
listen,
times before.
I'm not saying I was right, but I was also young, so
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I
you know.
understand. Trust me, I'm just saying I've seen it. I've seen what boredom can do when you are and when you're not affiliated, you know? So,
I mean, that's 90%. My thing was this. This was my real, you know, I don't know, I'm not gonna say operation, but to me, when I got to a joint, I'm always looking to hustle, even from a young age. So that's where I got into a lot of the bullshit. So that's where, like, once I started doing well, I mean, to a certain degree, bro, like you should probably, think about this or whatever, because, even at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much, respect or clout. If you're on your own, you're on your own.
Yeah.
It's an open target. So it doesn't matter what I'm willing to do, but it's the issue of you got so many other motherfuckers that are looking at you and are shooting at you that it don't make no sense not to. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about being protected, but I wanted to move how I wanted to move.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really what it came down to.
Yeah. I understand, man. And I came into situations where I had to contemplate, man, should I do this? Should I do that? And I ain't gonna say it was easy, doing it by myself. It was definitely had its moments, man, terrifying moments, but
Yeah, no, I know. I'll tell you a couple situations, but I'll tell you this one real quick. Was that I was 19, I was at MTU still, and I was running a couple poker tables, right? So
okay.
you already know,
Poker. Let's talk about it.
you man, you already know. So I'm 19 years old, young white dude running 3 poker tables at a lifer joint. So
MTU. And that was your first major joint you went to after reception?
no, I was at Bellamy Creek for like 6 months. I got into some shit there, and they shot me over to MTU.
Is
And
that the
so
whole thing that ran your time up? That whole
no,
thing that shot you over there?
no, that ran all my time. No, no, no. There was other shit that was like,
Okay.
yeah, there's a bunch
Okay.
of other shit. But so so I'm running this poker table, and this dude, this black dude, he's getting down on the books, on my books every day. He's owing me money, like, maybe 70, 100, 120. I mean, every day was, and in the penitentiary, that's a little bit of money to be losing on a poker table every day. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
$100 like $1,000, Yeah.
Right, right, right. So, but he's coming out and paying me every night. So I'm like, all right, whatever. But I kind of knew he was like a bigger dude, and I kind of knew on the third day, or no, the fourth day. I'm sorry, the fourth day comes, and I'm down on the table. He's hitting me like, I mean, I might have queens over, and he's hitting me with kings over. I mean, just
Yeah.
straight bullshit hands. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this dude, man, I bet he's, I'm thinking he's like cheating, or I'm like starting to get pissed. So I go up to my homeboy. I got up from the table, had my homeboy run the table, and I go up to my dude and I'm like, let me grab a banger, because I think this dude's about to, I think he's about to try some shit. So now mind you, I'm the one up, or he's the one up on me, but he's
Yeah.
talking shit at the table, like, yeah, yeah, like saying like, yeah, boy, and yeah,
God, I
white
hate
boy,
that shit.
man. And I'm gonna tell you, this is where all this shit started at. So I went and grabbed the banger, and I had it on me. So I'm just waiting for this dude to say something. I'm not sitting at the table. I'm quiet now. I'm sitting at the table. He stopped getting up after that, but he was already up a little bit, maybe like 150, 180, something like that. So, they closed down the unit for like an hour to do count, and then they'll reopen it at like 10 o'clock. So we get up from the table, and that's when you shut down, and then when you come back out, you pay out, right? So I'm walking upstairs. He's walking down. He's on base. He's walking down to his cell. I'm walking upstairs to mine. And he's like, hey, E. So I look down at him. He's like, you better have my money after count, you white. And I'm like, oh, all right. I said, I got you. I'll have it. So, and that shit set me off. So as soon as I went to my room, and mind you, previous to this, my homeboy came and grabbed a banger back. He's like, dog ain't gonna do shit. He's like, don't get, and I was hot at the time. He's like, don't get popped with this. So he grabbed a banger back. So he's in a couple cells down from me, right? So I can't get to him at all while we're locked down. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna lock this fool. So I grabbed my lock, took my little state belt off, braided that bitch up, made a little handle out of it, packed all my shit up to my bunkie to make sure my shit comes with me to the hole. So I go and braid up my lock, and as soon as they open the unit, I shot downstairs. I had my winter jacket on. At the time, we were allowed to wear winter jackets in the unit at night. So I had my winter jacket on. I had the lock braided up in my pocket. So he's standing up against a wall with his back to the wall. He got 2 homeboys on the side. He's got his foot kicked up and shit. Like, I'm just about to come down and pay him. And he's like, what's up? He's like, you got my money? I was like, yeah. I walked up to him. I pulled a lock. I'm like, right here. Whack, 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 whack. So anyway, so I'm on top of him. I slid the lock across the floor. My homeboy grabbed that. So then, like, I'm on top of him trying to hit him, right? And by this time, I kind of worked myself into the corner or against the wall a little bit. So the cops start running in. They see what was going on. They start running in. And they grab him up off the floor. And they grabbed him up off the floor, and they had him, like, open to me like this. So I just fired on him. Fired on him 2 more times while the cops had him, right? The second time,
shit.
the second time I slid and I hit the cop.
Oh, damn.
Hey, but listen, so they take me to the hole, and so I'm in the hole, and I'm marking my hands up on the grate right in front of me. So they call the deputy warden, and mind you, it's like midnight.
So you were marking up your knuckles just so they didn't think you used a lock.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just beat
yeah,
them
yeah.
up with the fists. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yep, yep. I just made them bloody and shit or whatever, just marked them up. So the deputy warden comes in, and I had to play this card. I'm like, so he's like, what's going on? The guy's trying to say that you hit him with a lock or something. I said, man, I didn't hit him with a lock. I said, look at my hands. I said, he's just mad he got beat by like a young dude or something. I said something like that. Like, I think he's mad he just got whooped by a white dude or some shit like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But that deputy warden, he looked at me. He was like, yeah, all right, whatever. Never said shit about it. Never got no restitution on it. Did 7 days in the hole behind it. I didn't do no time for that. But
That's all right.
yeah, they chalked it up at MTU for a fight. They'll just give you like 7 days in the hole or 14 days in the hole. So they just gave me 7 days and kicked me right back out.
That's
But I
crazy.
ended up, yeah, the messed up part is dog was in a specific program there. So he was in the hospital. He was gone for like 4 weeks. He comes back and they have to put him on that compound. And I'm not going to say they're the most well put together, organized penitentiary. So as soon as they put him back on the compound, I was in another unit. I ended up having to pop the same dude like probably 5 weeks after I cracked him with the lock and I smashed his face or whatever. I don't know, some shit. But yeah, he ended up showing up in my unit having a knife and shit.
Oh, so he didn't let bygones be bygones. He was ready to go again, huh?
Yes, yes. And his homies called me out to the yard after he went to the hole. His homies called me out to the yard. It was like, look.
Oh, so he was affiliated too.
Yeah, yep. Yeah,
and you
like,
weren't full up into
time,
it yet
no,
at MTU.
No,
okay.
No, yeah, no. So by the time I got, they called me out to the yard or whatever, and of course I was strapped up. I was like, fuck, it is what it is. And they just pulled me to the side. They were like, look, man, whatever you got going on with old boy, keep that between you guys and don't bring nobody else into it. So all right. So like I said, about 3 or 4 weeks after that, dog shows back up on the compound trying to pop me. You can't see it, but I got this little patch, this little tattoo right here. I was getting my half sleeve done, and that's why I don't look like nothing else, no other tattoos I got. But dog came to my room, was like, yeah, man, there's some big black dude out there. He's got a big ass knife. He's looking for you. He's like, I can see it through his jacket. I'm like, damn. I'm like, all right. So I ran to my room.
Were you a little shook, man, or what? Were you in?
No, I don't know why. And I'm gonna tell you like this. I can't. People ask me this all the time, like, "What, you weren't scared or this and that?" But I could tell you, on my daughters, from the moment I walked into the penitentiary, I was never shook about anything.
Just trained to go, man.
I don't even know if it was that. I might have just been stupid, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? I just never had an issue. I just never had an issue getting into it for no reason. I felt like if you were looking for a problem for me, then you were looking for a problem in general, because I really didn't fuck with nobody like that. I'm saying I didn't, I wasn't robbing people or doing no stupid shit. I was doing my own thing, working out, hustling cars or whatever, So they ended up, they ended up blowing yard. So I got up out my homeboy's room because you can't be doing tattoos. So I had to sneak in his shit and then sneak back out, get back down to my room, grab my knife. And then by the time I got out to yard, they had blown the small yard. So like everybody had to either be back in their units or go back to the unit or whatever. And so I see dog, I see his head, like his hat bouncing over the snowbanks because it was the middle of winter.
Damn, I bet that shit was filled with snow over there.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. They were like, we're in Michigan or whatever.
Oh, Michigan.
Man, it was like I'll say probably like maybe 6-7 foot, from them shoveling little walkways and shit. You got these big banks.
Yeah.
So I see old boy's hat. I could see the way he wore it and everything. And I'm probably maybe like, I don't know, like 100 yards from him. So I just start, and there's snow on the ground. So I just start like walking real fast towards him. And I get up behind him. He don't hear me because the snow's like keeping my feet real quiet. He don't hear me. And I just grab him behind the head. And I'm going to tell you, this is stupid, but I grab him like in a headlock and I just start popping him. Hitting him in the face probably like 6 or 7 times. And,
with the banger.
Yeah, stab him. So he's trying to come up out of his, and he was trying to turn around to see me because I had him in a headlock. So he was trying to turn around. And somehow his jacket got flipped over his arm and his head a little bit. So when that happened, I pushed him forward and he went forward and I just kicked him right in the back, head first into the snowbank. So that stupid old boy went right into the snowbank head first. And I just turned around and started jetting it back to the unit because the cops are like coming out and they're about to shut down the yard or whatever. So I shoot back in the unit, unwrap my hand off my knife. It was a little, a strap of, like sheet off the bed, wrap that up, and it was covered in blood. Just threw that out, and then flushed that down the toilet, and then cleaned off my banger and put it back up in my door frame. So the next morning, on some coincidental, shit. Well, I'm not gonna say it was coincidental, but I had the gang inspector and like the captain, all the top guys were in my room banging on my door. Pascalone, get up. I'm like, oh man. So I get up, and they're like, let's see your hand. Or they didn't even let me get up. They just opened the door. They like, get up, and opened the door and came in. And I was still laying in bed. So they were like, let me see your hands. So I'm laying in bed, showing them my hands or whatever. And they were like, all right. So they start tearing up my clothes, looking for blood on my clothes or whatever. So they're like, all right, we're just gonna keep you in here for a minute. We'll be back. So they lock my door so I can't get out or whatever. They just kind of keyed it. They call it, you get your door keyed in Michigan, right? Uh-huh. So they keyed it, and as soon as that deadbolt hit, it dropped the dropped it right down. Hey, listen. So I'm looking at him through the window, and I just hear it like clink, clink. He opened that door, went right for it, pulled it out. I ended up doing 15 months in a hole behind that.
Yeah.